following podcast is being brought to you by the Defy Life Podcast Network.
This week on the Defy Life podcast, the guys discuss Tyler Perry, their thoughts as we head towards the Super Bowl, a possible 17-game schedule in the NFL, and they wrap things up with some trivia. All that and more. Let's get it.
Yeah, that's what it is. I guess we gotta do it then. You alright? Check, pull, out, money, West Coast, let's get it. Strap in, let's take a ride. Oh yeah, it's about that time, right? Been waiting all week to get to this. It's finally time to defy life. Let's chop it up, keep it real, no other way. That's what we do. We might disagree, but it's all love. Guarantee we gon' speak the truth. Yeah, this hit different. My guys with me now. Who's with us? Stick around for a few minutes. It's contagious. You'll get it. You downloaded the realest. Don't feel us, forget out. You not rocking with Defy Life, then what's your life about? This ain't the Defy Life. Told you. On to the shy line. I'm gonna let this ride out though. This is the Defy Life. This is the Defy Life. Welcome back to the Defy Life Podcast, powered by the Defy Life Podcast Network. This episode is sponsored by Bud Bottles, home of the Bud Bottle and the Bud Freshener. Please visit budbottles.com for your odor eliminating needs. This is episode 141, ladies and gentlemen. Come on in, wipe your feet, close the door behind you. I'm your host, J.R. Glenf, joined as always by my wonderful co-host, Thomas Stevens, Alvin Glenf. What's good with you, Pooh?
Man, it's all love out here, man. I'm all good and rested. How are you?
I'm good, man. You get that power nap in?
No doubt, man. No doubt. And happy we celebrated King Day. Happy for that. Watched a few movies, enlightened the kids on a few things, so I'm ready to go, man.
Absolutely. Al, what's good with you?
Man, I'm chilling. Like literally, man. It's fucking cold in Georgia.
Hell yeah.
But I'm a little jealous right now. You know, Pooh got all that energy,
Right.
and I'm dragging and shit. You know, it's early morning, and then got practice, so it's a long day for me. So I'm just gonna feed and suck up some of Pooh's energy because I need some of that right now.
Hey, I got it too. Me and Pooh had a call scheduled at 8:00, and our car didn't show up, and we waited till like 8:15. Man, we was like, man, Pooh said, I'm about to take a power nap before the show, and I was like, shit, I'm about to do that with you, and
oh man,
and I'd be if I'm off mute was like the dude who's supposed to call us. I was like, watch you call, time I doze off,
Right.
and I woke up, he didn't call like 6 times. So, yeah, I was like, bruh, we'll talk tomorrow.
Right.
yeah.
So, but yeah, man, good idea, Pooh. And yeah, man, King Day was good. How was your King Day, Al?
Man, my King Day was great, man. Started off, as I think this year is a little different. I think every year we just kind of play it by ear. We've gone to parades. We've done community service, and we've chilled and stayed home and just kind of reflected. This year we got out and did some community service. Went over to a middle school and one of the nonprofits here in Atlanta, Hands on Atlanta, had coordinated bringing State Farm and some of their corporate, some of their employees out to the school. So it was cold, man. We got out there, it was about 25 degrees Monday morning. And they had a great turnout. 75, 80 people came out, and they had people painting inside, like on the walls, and kind of touching up stuff. They had another set of people who were in the gym packing lunches and meals to take to homeless people under the bridges at 285, and then people who were late like me, they sent outside to paint, and we like painted the speed bumps and the curb and some of the fire hydrants and stuff like that. Just kind of beautifying and kind of increasing the curb appeal. I was saying all day, but just a great event, and had my family out there, and it was just an opportunity because King, to me, Martin Luther King was a very complex and person, so he represented a lot of things, and for service is definitely a thing that I remember him of. Is just this idea that giving back to your community can make you a great individual. So anytime we can give back on a King Day, you are definitely right in line with who that man was. So that's what we did. And when I tell you that the principal was just overwhelmed with the people who came out on a cold day, because I ain't lying, man. When my alarm went off and it was like, do I really want to get up?
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure a lot of people reflected on that as well, that temperature, and a lot of people came out. So shout out to the whole community that came out that day, and just a good way to spend the day. And then after that, went out and had lunch with the wife and son and daughter, and so definitely a really, really good King Day.
Nah, that was dope, man. I'm gonna try to do something like that at my middle school, and for real, that's dope. I'm gonna try that.
I don't know what nonprofit in Columbia is focused on volunteerism, like in Atlanta. One of the bigger ones is Hands on Atlanta. But to me, one of the great roles that these organizations play is to connect the community with the corporate community who wants to give back. Because so many corporations are looking for ways for their employees to serve.
Right. And
so they are that middleman to kind of connect and give these opportunities to organizations like State Farm and just State Farm has been a big partner with our school district as well. I mean, they fund some of our college access work. They fund some of our STEM work. So just a big partner with our school district overall. But I'm sure there are, corporations that are looking for ways to do that, and then just it's a great way to spend. We was in there for 3 hours and got a lot of work done.
Right.
So it's like we didn't even have to be there all day.
Yeah. Cool. But what'd you end up doing?
I didn't do anything, man. My youngest guy, he was
that's right.
he was jumped on and manhandled by the flu. So so I had the last 3 weeks, man. Last 3.5 weeks, all three of my kids have captured the flu. So Carter, Cooper, they had strand B, and we were celebrating the youngest, Erickson. Man, he's a stud. The kid this, that kid that. The toughest kid in the house. And dude, that kid literally got like 2 or 3 days out of the school week, and I purchased the tickets for Spies Like Us, all kid seats, even though we grown ups, and we was gonna send them too.
Right.
So $16 for the whole family. It's like 5 of us, recliner seats and all. Kind of getting over, but you know what it is. But
you know what it is.
That's how you celebrate King Day.
You already know. So that night we were like, Dad, Bud a little warm. Hit him again. I was like, oh no, this ain't good. So Keita set him up an appointment early that morning. But we were still thinking, okay, you know what? It's a little common cold. He's getting a little fever, but he'll be fine. Then his temp got up to like 103, 103.5. And we was like, oh, wow, this doesn't look good. So we took him into the little minute clinic. Sure enough, strand B it is.
Wow.
And it was all over at that point. We got the Tamiflu and all this and all that, but he's handled it well, man. He he didn't fall apart at the seams like like my baby girl did.
Right.
She lost like 9 pounds.
Shit.
Wow.
Couldn't eat, couldn't do anything. Carter, he soldiered through it as well. But it had my baby girl in shambles.
Yeah, Cooper ain't but so big.
Right.
Man. Well, I'm glad everybody feeling better.
Yeah, for real. That flu ain't nothing to play with.
It is
Nothing to
not.
play with.
Man, yeah, man. Well, I kind of, was inspired. My big sister kind of took the reins and Valen told me that we were going to do our service. And she was like, you ain't let me know where we going. I was like, going for where? She was like, for our service. I was like, oh. I was like, well, let me start looking. She was like, don't worry about it. I already looked. Pick out something from the list. So a lot of things with the spots were kind of full, and we were trying to find the right time, and finally I was like, hey, why don't we just do our own thing? Like, we don't have to jump on somebody else's agenda. I can go by the store, pick up a bunch of like food, and we can put together lunch bags for the homeless.
Right.
She was like, I like that. So I stopped by the store and picked up, a bunch of sandwich meat and bread and chips and cookies and waters and, the paper bags and sandwich bags. And we started an assembly line at my sister's house and headed out and fed the homeless for lunch. So it's really rewarding, really fulfilling. So, my wife had to work, so it was me and my boys and my wife and her kids and her granddaughter. I mean, my sister and her kids and her granddaughter, and her husband. So my brother-in-law is kind of hemmed up after knee surgery, so he can't do much walking. So they kind of stationed in front of a Samaritan house where a lot of homeless are gathered. And me and my nephew and my youngest rode around in my car just handing out food. So pretty good day, man. It was good for the kids to get that experience. We've done that a couple times in Atlanta. So it was good for them to kind of get around here and kind of rekindle that feeling. So, again, any kind of service and to kind of explain to them, just the importance of, one, giving back when you have the opportunity to do so, and also noticing just how important it was for those people just to get a meal. So to notice those things, because in reality, like I told them, shit, we only a couple bad days at Daddy's job from being there ourselves. So just appreciate what we got. So
that's dope.
Yeah. So I hope everybody else's King Day was good, man. I always try to get out and do something. And again, like I told my kids, don't just use this as a day off. Make it about somebody else.
I mean, I think it's a must that we don't allow King Holiday just to evolve into some commercial or some insignificant holiday. And considering who he was, what he accomplished, how he died, his legacy, I think, especially our generation, one that is in the seat of authority right now, to where we have the ability to pass on kind of what the expectations are, what are the norms of this holiday. I think the more we can just, whether it's reflection, whether it's community service, but something that can be connected. I think you could be by yourself and spend King Day the right way if you are doing that, spending that time appropriately. So it's up to us. So I'm glad, all of us did it well and spent it with our families, and didn't do it just like, chilling. Right.
Yeah. And because now, like you said, like to not let it morph into this commercial day, like holiday, where everybody's just using it as the day off. And because now it's kind of morphing into, for lack of a better term, National White Folks Get to Quote Martin Luther King and Tell Black Folks How to Act Day.
Oh wow, that's what it is.
That's what it is. Like all through social media, all through like the news. It's like you see every white person on Martin Luther King Day. I can say every, but a lot of white people on King Day feel it's an opportunity for them to pick their best Martin Luther King quote and tell black folks, "Oh, Martin Luther King died for you," not blah blah blah, or you know, how would Martin Luther King feel if he knew that you would? So, in order for us to keep this day as, like you said, Al, in commemoration of the totality of the man that he was, and not just a monolith that just taught always unity and peace. No, he wasn't always about that. No, he wasn't always about let's turn the other cheek and get along. That's not exactly what he was at all times. So I think it's good for us to keep that meaning and, like I said, the totality of the man alive. So shout out to both of you gentlemen and everybody else out there who did something. That's what's up.
Yeah, that's dope.
No doubt. Well, Al, you was sharing something with me before we got on. What a great way to lead into your King Day.
Hello. and honestly, as I processed what happened, it was inevitable that at some point I acknowledged that this is going on during King Weekend, right? So what I was sharing with Jay before the show is that so I coach basketball and I coach two teams, and one of my team, after the game, the opposing coach that we beat called me and said, "Yo, I just want to let you know one of your players was accused of calling one of my players a nigger." And he said it. I mean, the player came up to me as well as the parent came up to me. And I just want to let you know, he also said, I ain't trying to go to the league or elevate it. I just want to let you know, coach to coach, because I know who you are and you're going to address it. So I just want to give you a heads up. And, that was it. And I was like, oh, wait, can you tell me who it was? He couldn't tell me who it was. So I just said, all right, cool. I'll deal with it after the game. The next game, because we play both days that weekend. And so I had the opportunity to basically have this conversation with a team that is of mixed different races. I have 10 players and I have white kids, I have black kids. So I have a mixed kid. And it was a issue that, I take very seriously. It's not the first time I've had to deal with my players using the word. And for my listeners, y'all know I use the word. So you've heard me say it on the show, and we've had conversations about the usage of the word. But what I also respect is that as a coach, as a person of authority in a public place, that it ain't just about, when it comes to this, it ain't just about me. And I gotta also respect the idea that this is a league, so I'm representing the league. This is something that I'm taking the leadership of other people's children.
Right.
And so I can't just, I got to deal with this situation with all of that in mind, that's the hat I'm wearing. So with that being said, and again, I acknowledge that, damn, this is King Weekend. I got to talk about these kids using the word nigga. And this is during a King Weekend. Of course, it would happen this weekend for me. But I decided to wait till after the game because I felt like this is a heavy issue. And as a competitor, I don't want to throw this in front of kids because we got a game to play. So I'll deal with it after the game. So after the game, which is like, actually before the game, I said, yo, after the game, I got to talk to y'all 5-10 minutes, everybody after the game. So, but when I get them back there, I'm like, listen, I just want to share with y'all that we've been accused because the more I thought about it over the weekend, I don't even know if it happened.
Right.
So, okay, I can't approach it like that. I can't approach it like I know it was said or who said it. But it does give me an opportunity just to, because we haven't had this conversation about language, about word, about how we're going to behave when it comes to this. I've talked about other stuff, but I've never talked about this. Okay, cool. So I was like, yo, y'all were accused of calling another team the N-word. And it was like, everybody looking at me like, wait, us?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah. And I don't know who said it. I don't even know if it was said. But I do want to let you know that, my expectations are that word is not to be said by anyone at any time while you are participating and playing, practicing. That just, you can't do that. And that if it does happen, like, I'm going to have to deal with you. Like, there's no tolerance. So I'm not going to let you go. There's no tolerance because I'm telling with you now what my stance is. If you have a problem with that, I understand. Let me know. And if we can't work it out, I'll make sure you get on another team. But I do have expectations of my players. I'll tolerate and allow a lot of shit, but I also have some shit that's, I kind of coach in many ways the way I parent. Like,
Right.
I want y'all to do your best. I'm going to allow you to be you and, express yourself. But I do have this little list right here that I can't, you got to give me that. You got to give me these handful of things for us to be able to, play together. And then I said, then the floor is open to y'all to talk. And a few of them commented like, trying to ask me some questions about any of my background, anything else I know. But, to a person, they all said, look, no, we didn't say that. Which, again, I can't judge one way or the other.
Right.
But I have never seen any signs of it, but that doesn't mean anything. Because I also know when I was that age, I did a lot of dumb shit.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of dumb shit that 99% of the time you would not have believed, based on how I behaved, that I would do that dumb shit. Because for the most part, I was a decent person. But every now and then, I would make a really, really bad choice.
You were a kid, yeah.
I was a kid. So I want to deal with them understanding that that's their mindset. But I also know, that being said, I also know, because I grew up in a very racially mixed, tense environment, that behavior is taught.
Mm-hmm.
So at the same time, while I understand you're young, it's a really good possibility that it happened,
Right.
because it exists out there. So I guess I wanted to deal with it very seriously, but at the same time, from a place of trying to get them to grow. I guess that's where I came from. So that's how I spent my pre-King weekend, dealing with the N-word.
I was waiting on you to hit him with the "I've been to the mountaintop." I thought you was about to give him,
but real talk. This is how I guess the longer you have to process things, the crazier strategies you come up with. I did think about playing a video. I did think about coming with some text at some point. My mind. I was like, nah, that's not what you want to do.
Right.
I'm like, all right, everybody get around me and watch this YouTube right here.
Y'all know who that is.
Y'all know who that is. Now, which one of y'all said it? Go on.
Then they gonna be like, "You lied. You ain't never met Martin Luther King."
But that being said, and one of the questions they asked was, "Yo, why are we getting all this light? Why are they messing with us, basically?"
Right.
And I said, well, because out of all the teams, we are the only diverse team like this. Ain't no other team in this league with more than at this on this level, more than one white guy on the team,
Right.
and I got 5.
Wow. And I mean, if you think about it, I'm not. I wouldn't have been shocked if somebody just been like, "Yeah, I said it. I say it all the time. My friends let me say it." Like,
So
considering the day and time that we live in.
that is how I dealt with the first instance of the word being used as I was a coach, where it was said by one of the members of the team I was coaching, and he said it. He called one of his teammates, "Yo, passing the ball, nigga." And I looked like, "Yo, word? Did I just see that?" And so the asshole in me says, "I'm gonna do a little social experiment. I'm gonna lay back and see how these kids react." And they just kept rocking with it like it was nothing. Like, you go, da da da, and kept playing like, wow. So, because I had never seen that before. I heard about it, but I had never actually witnessed it. And I was like, wow, they really let that white boy coach call him a nigger. Oh, shit. And then it happened again about 20 minutes later. "Damn, nigga." I was like, stop. All right, that's it. Now then I addressed it, dealt with it, and said, y'all can't do that. "Damn, coach, what's the big deal? We know that's him. He cool." Wow. You arguing.
Ain't that damn cool.
Well, I was like, nah. Honestly, again, it ain't even about cool, not cool.
Right.
In my position as a coach, there are parents who put you in my custody right now, and they would not. I'm speaking on their behalf. They wouldn't want that to be they don't want that to go down, so I'm not gonna let that go down.
Right.
It ain't about how you feel, it ain't about me. Nah, this is what they paid for. They paid for me to make sure that don't happen. So you can't.
And in reality, you likely saving that kid ass whooping in the near future.
Oh yeah. Wrong. And same thing here too with my team. Like,
right.
Another place, another player. Like, that could have gone real bad.
Right.
Because we've already had incidents like of parents jumping on parents. Parents, that's where refs. Not like we that type of league, but it happens.
Yeah,
it happens.
It's youth sports. We talked about that.
Right, it happens. And so anytime something gets escalated, you just never know where it's going to end up. And so I'm always trying to de-escalate that shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Chill, because there's kids in here. It's like it's way. Nah. Calm down, relax. Let that shit go.
Right, and I applaud you for handling it how you did.
Well, I appreciate that. I all as a coach, I guess I just look at it as all of us. We're gonna handle things differently. End of the day, what I hope we all are trying to do is like focus on security and safety nowadays. Like, I think that has to be a huge concern.
Yeah.
And then the best welfare of all of the kids that you are looking after. And that's all that's where my mindset is. Just like, one, I as much as possible, I feel like I'm part security out there. Like, cause for me to be escalating shit again, I just seen too much go wrong real fast. We ain't got cops in here. You don't know people packing on them outside. Like, nah.
Yeah.
We just here to play ball.
Yeah. And from that perspective, like, just there to play ball, like, especially in a situation where you don't know. Like you said, you don't know whether it actually happened. Nobody's like owning up to it, so you really in a situation where you don't know, and you have to address it, especially considering your team is so diverse, to keep them on the same page, because they're still a team. They still got to play ball together. So that's choppy waters to navigate, man.
Bruh, it was definitely like, and it felt, it was mostly, it's one of those situations where right after to have the conversation, you feel better and relieved that you had the conversation. Like, oof, I can let that one go.
Right.
Because, to me, this is like very, very serious.
Yeah.
And I just, again, I don't take my access to kids lightly.
Right.
And in the sense of, one, I value the opportunity to make a difference, but I also don't want to fuck it up. Like,
True.
you know what I mean? Like, I know when I put my kids in front of other adults, don't make my job harder. don't be fucking my shit up. Like, so I just try to do it right because, these people's kids. And I know how valuable they are to people.
Absolutely. So, well, we ain't even gotten to the show yet, but that was a damn good conversation. That was interesting. And like you said, right before King Day. So, kudos to you. And kudos again to all of our coaches here at Defy Life, man. You, Pooh, Scott, Yosh, all y'all, man. I can't say enough to the teachers and coaches that we have on this Defy Life staff, man. I applaud you guys every single day because I couldn't do this shit. So,
well, I think you could. I think we all do in just different arenas. Right. We are trying to share our, whatever to make the people behind us better. And but as you were talking, I that's why I have so much respect for youth coaches or just people who are trying to pour back into kids, just because, it's when you hear people say, man, it's more than just sports, or it's more than just music. It's more than just karate. It's because of situations like that, right, where something outside of what you're dealing with, you're teaching, you have the opportunity to teach on something else. And to me, like, that's the cool shit. And that's how it makes the difference, and why you can kind of, when you become adults, you can see the adults who never were involved in sports. Absolutely. Or, you know what I mean? Like, it pays dividends in people's character, and we all notice it as we are adults. Like, oh, you was an only child, wasn't you? You never... Yeah. You just learned how to play the clarinet. That's all you did. Mm-hmm. Right. So it makes a difference.
Absolutely. Well, before we get into the meat of the show, as always, a little bit of house cleaning. Just want to shout out our winner of the Defy Life Podcast T-shirt giveaway. Last week, we decided to do a little giveaway for Defy Life Podcast T-shirt. And just who could answer a question from the previous episode. The question was, where did Al and Pooh meet their wives? And so whoever responded on any platform, social media, email, whoever responded first, text, whoever knows my number. And we got an email response from Chris Martinez in DeLand, Florida. No, I'm sorry. Chris Martinez in Tallahassee, Florida. Sorry. He correctly answered the question and got both parts from Al's and Pooh's perspective, because their wives weren't here to refute the story. So, as far as we know, Chris, you got the answer right, and your Defy Life. Well, he actually chose the Defy Life definition T-shirt. So, congrats to you.
That's a dope shirt.
That's a dope shirt. So, congrats to you, Chris. Your shirt is on the way.
Way to go, Chris.
Yeah, so we will be doing that approximately once a month, just giving out some a T-shirt to whoever can answer a question from the show. So listen carefully, and when you see that question, if you ain't listened to the episode yet, go listen. So, and while you're out there, rate us 5 stars and tell somebody about the show. So, apparently somebody in Pleasant Hill, California, y'all doing a damn good job of doing that. So we love y'all, Pleasant Hill.
Yeah, shout out to Pleasant Hill.
And you too, Tallahassee. Shout out to Chris. So with that being said, our first listener question, Pooh, you first. Carissa from DeLand, Florida. That's what I was looking at earlier.
Okay.
Carissa wants to know, what are your thoughts on Tyler Perry and his work? So I'm guessing this kind of stems from the new movie Tyler Perry has on Netflix. Fall from Grace. Another terrible Tyler Perry movie. But a lot of people like my sister. We were talking about that this weekend. She's like, "You seen the new Tyler Perry film?" And she loves Tyler Perry movies.
Right.
I was like, "Yeah," and I didn't want to get into the whole conversation because Tyler Perry fans are kind of like LeBron fans. You say some shit bad about Tyler Perry, they're gonna chop your head off.
They're like a cult, man.
Right.
He has a cult like following for real.
Exactly. So, not only did I watch it, but I get into bed the following night, and my wife turns it on because she's like, "Oh, I've been waiting to see this." I was like, "Are you serious?" She's like, "You watched it?" I was like, "Yeah." She was like, so as I'm falling asleep, I got to listen to the shit. So yeah.
Right.
So, and then of course with that, all the anti-Tyler Perry people are speaking up about his practices, his business practices, how he kind of, blatantly shitting on the community of black actors. You know, people bringing up the he say, she say stuff, how he allegedly uses his power, against people who have no voice or up and coming actors, namely men. I'll leave it at that. And then also his the lack of quality in the writing and the filming and the directing, and his lack of a staff, and how he writes all of his stuff by himself. How people feel that he's he makes money off the back of black women's struggles, all that stuff. It's kind of come to light, especially on social media. So with that being said, Pooh, what are your thoughts on Tyler Perry? For one, himself, and are you a fan of his movies?
Wow. So starting off, I guess when Tyler first, appeared with that I knew of, the Madea things and things of that nature, I definitely wasn't a fan of that. I'm not a fan of that, as we speak. However, I respect it. What to see where he came from and see his struggle and I guess his endurance and passion to be able to get where he is today. I definitely respect the hustle. Some of his movies are okay. It just seemed like some of them are empty, as well. And some of them you can relate to 70% of the film, and then when it's the fall in action and when it's time to tie the movie together, it just comes loose at the seams. It's like, well, it's missing something, or the way it ended is kind of quirky and wild, like that.
It's missing like good actors and missing all that shit.
Well, he be sure though. He always get like a headliner, at least one of them. But I do know, and I heard something differently. I heard that he gives actors a chance, and you hear what's her name? What's the girl's name? From Baby Boy, Pete Henson, Taraji. She glows about him and glows about him all the time. If it weren't for Tyler, I wouldn't be here today. And name this person, name that person. He always hire, his black actors. He pours out. They wouldn't put us in the studio, so he built the studio. So I think it's a lot of pros and cons to a lot of people that get to that plateau. But I definitely respect his genius, and I don't per se like a lot of his films, but I definitely respect him and what he's done and the plateau that he's reached.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm kind of like, it's kind of like certain genres or streams of hip hop. Like, it may not be for me, but obviously somebody likes it. And
right.
There's a huge audience, so
right.
I ain't gonna say it's whack. It just ain't for me.
Right.
So I don't know, Al. What are your thoughts on Tyler Perry and his work?
I think I agree with like pretty much what y'all said. I mean, it's funny because I watched the movie this weekend and they got me, man. I'm listening to a morning show. I like never listen to the radio. I might listen to 45 minutes of radio a month. I listened to radio this month and he's on promoting and they talking about how, it's a thriller and it's all these plot twists, and I was like, oh man, dang, he finally made a good movie. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna check this one out. So over the weekend, Friday, Saturday night, I'm not sure what night it was, but I was like, you know what? Let's watch it. And I think it led to the conversation the next day about, how do I rate him and where do I see him as, on the list of black filmmakers. But to talk about him as a person first, let me just say this. Like, I have, like y'all, a lot of respect for the business acumen. I have a lot of respect for being the pioneer. I have a lot of respect for a business person who identifies a niche and then provides it. The studio thing, especially down here in Atlanta, I just think is amazing. I've heard rumors a little bit about the blackballing and exclusion, but to some degree, I just you can't hire everybody. For me, my perspective is I when it comes to his hiring practices, I love seeing a Cicely Tyson, a Maya Angelou, a Felicia Rashad. And over the course of his movies, he's giving these people work, and these are icons. So to me, that he deserves a big plus. Looking at all of his movies, being able to pull people like that in and give them work, and the fact that he gives young artists, young actors, unknown actors breaks. That's a good thing, but the downside to that is a lot of times your acting is not going to be as mature and professional and developed because you're dealing with less developed actors in a lot of cases. So I acknowledge that, but I don't think there's no excuse for the sorry plots though. To me, that's a consistent theme or my assessment of his work. And I just don't think they're the best scripts a lot of time.
Right.
And even the movie, this last movie, things at some point a character gets beat over the head with a bat.
Or there's blood flying everywhere.
Everywhere.
That kid got clobbered, yo.
And then he's still in the movie.
He's
Right.
still in the movie,
To the point where I thought they was gonna flash the camera down and he was gonna be decapitated. She went in on this dude.
That to me, I don't get things like that. I don't get things so
That
either
kid walked away.
you don't want me to take you seriously, one or the other, or you making this a comedy. Which one is it? But honestly, y'all compared him to some of the hip hop of the day. I tend to compare it to the fast food in our neighborhood,
Right.
and that it gives a lot of people jobs. A lot of people jobs, but a lot of places you ain't gonna get the best service.
No.
Definitely ain't getting the best food.
And
It
if
ain't
you
gonna
consume
be
too
healthy.
much of it, you may die.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's what I tend to compare it to a lot of times. But very profitable,
Right.
and a lot of their profit is coming from us.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that to me is the tragedy of a Tyler Perry and some of the hip hop is kind of what we was talking about with the coaching, is that when you have an opportunity to have a platform and have people's ear and hearts, it sure would be nice if you was pouring healthy shit into them.
And it would be nice if you were pouring your all. To me, to have a major studio have a solo writer to every film, that's piss poor energy and effort.
Yeah, it's insane though. It's
Right.
how
And
but how
just-
dare Go ahead, Jay.
No, I was just saying, and for them to say, like, they said they filmed that movie in 5 days.
Get out of here.
Yeah, like it's that like,
Wow.
and I can get it if like they were like we started from somewhere, and our first few shows, we know, but like to have your own studio, like I don't know. Go ahead, Pooh.
But he's just so arrogant, as in I can do it. But and all geniuses are that way, But I guess he has to get to a point where he has to let other people come in and write and hone their craft as well. And one thing it's about is giving people a chance and bringing them up as in an apprentice under you. You know what I'm saying? And having them develop in that way as well, and studios, because that's when when you're able to look at your tree. You know what I'm saying? Like these guys, these people came up under me, and now they're flourishing. Not only actors, but I'm talking about screenwriters and playwriters and things of that nature. So I think once he begin to do that, I think he'll be revered even more. And I do want to say, I think his miniseries or like the soap opera things, I think those are a lot better than the movies, and a lot of people talk about them. I watch them and I'm like, oh, okay. But like the thing Greenleaf, it was.
Is that his show?
That's his show.
Okay, I can watch Greenleaf.
And that's what I'm saying.
I've
never watched
terrible.
Dude, it's like his miniseries are much better.
Okay.
Because I think he has I just think he doesn't close it out well. He's just not a good.
He definitely didn't close this movie out.
Hell no.
He's just not a good close. Hey, let me ask you guys a question. Did he write that movie when he was the action guy? Because if he did, I think that was probably his best written movie.
You talking about when he was a cop? Alex.
Yeah. Alex Bond or something?
I don't think so. I thought he was just an actor in the movie.
Right. That was a prequel. That was a prequel to Along Came a Spider.
Right.
Okay.
And I think I think we are doing him a disservice when we just call him arrogant for
want to do everything. That's what.
Because let me say this, Pooh. If like when it comes to making my chicken, right, I tend to season it and let it sit overnight, right?
Correct.
But at the same time, if you told me that, Al, you throw a little salt on it, throw it on the grill, and in 20 years, you keep selling that chicken, you're going to have like $200 million sitting in the bank. You don't have to season it every night, because the people who are going to consume it, they'll eat it just like that.
Right.
But that's what I was going to say. It's kind of akin to what we said last week about Clemson and Dabo Swinney. Is once you get a certain amount of success,
right,
and especially in a results-based business like this,
why change it?
You're gonna keep doing what you've been doing.
That's true.
Regardless of how now, if Clemson comes out for the next 10 years and goes 3-8, and people still showing up to Dabo's, showing up to their game as they selling out, Dabo ain't gonna change shit.
For what? We still killing it,
right? But people stop showing up to his games. Folks stop eating Al's chicken. Hey, some shit got to change.
Right.
But as long as folks keep showing up in droves to watch his films and buy his tickets, he gonna keep doing what he's doing.
So to me, I think it's like a keen awareness of your audience.
Okay.
And it's like I don't like accepting that fact. Because it's really he's saying, "Yo, black folk, I ain't got to do that."
And I guess I'm saying it as a tremendous player that he's an elite scorer and an okay rebounder, drop okay. That the way KD was and we're saying, we got to get more out of you. You got to get in there. You got to rebound more. You got to assist more. So
but
it's
who's
almost
saying
like
that to Tyler though? Who's saying that to Tyler?
I mean, me.
That's you.
Yeah,
But
right.
it's like,
That's you.
hey,
But Tyler's
it's
also
like
the owner of the team.
That's
It's
true.
like-
Oh, well, well, if you say
Oh,
that,
no.
then
Right.
that changes
Take-
the discussion.
Look
Okay.
at Shaquille O'Neal.
Right.
Like
Mhm.
had the most dominant career of any big man that I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Right.
And pretty much was, I mean, while he developed enough to stay down. Like he didn't say, well, I got to develop a free throw shot now.
Mhm.
At no point, because he's like, yo, I'm putting up 35 a game as is.
What more do you want from me?
He got out there, he boarded though. Like if he was all points, then
But I mean,
and
it's
he
not
didn't
that
secure the
didn't
board.
develop. All I'm saying is there's a formula that I think at some point when people are dominating,
Right.
once they get the formula and they're like, I'm dominating, and why?
I'm gonna sit
I
right
mean,
here.
that would be akin to if relationship status tomorrow, if Yosh and CL and Neek was like, you know what, fuck it, we're gonna start talking about owning pets.
Why?
Why?
We would be like, we're not doing that.
Like, exactly, don't do that. Keep doing what
Right.
you're doing.
Do what you do.
Because you've caught an audience. Like if tomorrow we say, you know what, we're never talking about sports again. We kind of went through this when the whole Colin Kaepernick thing. We were like, are we gonna stop talking about the NFL?
Right.
And
Oh,
at some point we realized, like, it's kind of killing
Why?
ourselves, right? Like, and how? So I see it from both perspectives, I guess. Like, and I think we all kind of see it from both perspectives,
Right.
I guess.
Right.
Because the reason we're able to is because we don't really watch and enjoy his films, but we also understand what lane he's in and why he's there, and he's
Right.
realized that. So, you know, again,
But
like Al said, like
I have-
if somebody had a chitlin restaurant, I ain't gonna go, but you know, sell your chitlins, buddy.
Knock
People gonna
yourself
go out
out.
I bet them
Right,
chickens, I
right.
bet them chitlins good as shit, but I ain't eating.
I have heard as people talk about him, like celebrities talk about him, almost from a place of I want to like he's the Don almost like
Right.
like watch what you say. Make sure you give I can't say anything negative because there might be some blowback or we know he's a major power player, so we're gonna be as positive as possible. And as we talk about him, and kind of like some people might treat Donald Trump, like just kind of like watch
Is
what you
Tyler
say.
the Black Harvey Weinstein.
Right.
I'm just saying,
he's
watch what you say.
revered though.
Yeah.
He's revered. Yeah.
Yeah.
So shout out to Perry though.
No,
Yeah.
shout out to him. Definitely.
Wow. Shout out to
I
Tyler
respect him.
and shout out to Carissa for that question because
Oh, yeah.
anytime we go in on something and we end up back at your question 30 minutes later, you've asked a good one.
Real good question.
So shout out to you and kudos to Tyler Perry, man. Do your thing, and just let my wife know next time I've already watched your movie, so I ain't got to suffer through it twice.
Oh, you just need to wait to watch it with her. Yeah.
Hey, bro, I just want to say this before we move on. That kid was talking big shit, and he got nailed with that
Oh,
bat.
yo, the kid, when that kid said,
Wasn't he though?
When that kid said ashtray, bitch.
Yo, he was bold. He
He was mad, boy. You should have joined us. I was like, yo, this kid wilding.
mad disrespectful.
Mad disrespectful. Hey, he was just so disrespectful. He was ignorant. Like,
Right,
like
yeah.
we say, kid ignorant. He was
ignorant as
wild.
hell. And then it was funny is my oldest son, I'm watching it, and this kid walks in, Daniel walks in and says, I'm saying though, anybody with a haircut like that need to have their head bashed in.
Dang, that's hilarious.
That's funny.
But I will say, my last comment on him, but a lot of his characters and his treatment of certain issues tends to be over the top. So, it's like he can't just be a somewhat bad man. Like he got to be the worst deadbeat
Right.
dude you've ever met in your life. Like
No, he does. And believe it or not, though, and it stems from something or somewhere. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I got you.
Like it's something deeply rooted
I mean,
in Tyler. So
because it's like I've known physically abusive dudes. I've known dudes who stole. I've known dudes who cheated. I know dudes who kind of were verbally abusive.
Right.
But I mean, he did them all.
all at once.
One dude. And it all came out at once.
Yeah, he was a super creep. You know what I'm saying?
I was like, damn. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So what you saying, Pooh, is Tyler Perry got daddy issues.
I don't know who it is. I don't know if it's cousins, uncles, but he definitely witnessed it. Yeah, definitely.
Oh man. Well, here's to the next shitty Tyler Perry movie that all y'all folks will go in droves to go see. Shit. Hate that dude's movies. But kudos to you, Tyler. You doing your thing.
Tyler, you good with me, man.
Just in case I ever want to roll, right?
Right.
Oh shit.
Some love.
Right. Just Tyler, if you listen to this, just skip to just 56 minutes into the show. Start listening. Oh, we love you, Tyler.
And I think being able to identify when you are catering to the Black community, that having a topic that had something to do with church or have something to do with the struggles of a Black woman,
I mean, right.
you won't get some sales.
Right. But I think that's what's insulting to me is it's almost now that he thinks, well, that's all I got to do. Put some shit about church in there, some shit about Black women struggling and being stupid over some dude, and having that dude be the grimiest motherfucker I've ever seen in my life. That shit is going to sell.
Right.
Like, that's all
you
have to do. It has. Yeah.
It has.
I get it. It has.
We the fools. He's looking at y'all like.
But that's the insulting part to me is like, is that all it really takes for us to be entertained?
He definitely, and he did the two shows that I can recall that the women was mad grimy, and those joints sold.
Somebody gonna be grimy. Like
somebody gonna be grime. Somebody gonna be a sleazeball, definitely.
Yeah.
The wife cheats on her husband.
And I guess the fact that now it's just mad predictable. I figured that movie out in the first 15 minutes.
Right.
Once Cicely Tyson was creeping around Felicia Rashad's house, I was like, something up with that. She in cahoots with this dude. I figured it out. And it's like that with every movie is. And I'm like, Tyler Perry movie, Black movie, or white, any kind of movie. If it's predictable, that's my one, like.
Yeah, I hate movies like that.
Yeah, well, I'm just like, if it's predictable from the jump, like you lost me. So
agreed.
Yeah. Well, kudos to Carissa, man. We love you, Carissa, for asking that question because obviously you feel some kind of way about Tyler Perry. So Carissa from DeLand, shout out to you. Our next question is from our man Dre in Atlanta. Shout out to you, Dre. Dre, no doubt. Dre says, "Sorry, I'm late. Yeah, you late as hell on this, Dre. But you're loyal, so we'll let you slide. Sorry, I'm late. What was your biggest accomplishment from 2019? Al, you first.
Well, first of all, like you said, Dre is a regular, so we gotta have a lot of love for Dre because regular listener and regular question asker. So, me personally, I would give a Dre. You have all January to ask us questions about 2019. I'm gonna cut you some slack. I think my greatest accomplishment, looking back at 2019, I would say traveling to Cape Town, South Africa. Is something that I will hold as my greatest accomplishment last year. It was a fulfillment of a promise I made to myself in college. It was the opportunity to take my family. It was an opportunity to see my daughter blossom and, with her staying there for 2.5 months. So, and just to learn about the culture, the country, the Mandela experience. It was, and just to provide that for my family I think I look at as just an amazing, and for it to happen, to go fairly smoothly, even though my son lost his passport. But y'all should listen to that show for that story. That dude right there. Yeah, that would be what I hold up.
That's dope. Pooh, what about you?
Man, I suppose it would be, man, we paid for this trip for like a year and a half, and we took the kids on the Disney cruise. So it was a huge vacation for the kids, and just to look on their faces when we're entering the cruise ship, and they could see it from afar, and once we get on it, they see it's like a huge amusement park on in the ocean. So just to look on their faces and the characters and the Disney Island, it was monumental to me. And it was almost like, I felt like, and I always feel like that, but the whole weekend, it just seemed like it just felt like a treasure.
You felt like super dad.
Right.
Yeah. You felt like dad nigga.
Right.
Dad nigga.
I was like, Dad, I can't believe what I'm seeing. And
right.
And Erickson was like, you see Mickey. That he was like, even though that's not the real Mickey, I see Mickey. And I was like, what do you mean by that? He was like, because Mickey's only on TV. And I was like,
wow.
True. Yeah.
Cartoon. Like, what do you mean?
You're right.
Right. That's exactly what he means.
Right.
I was like, true that. And, they're in the Bahamas. And it was just a tremendous experience, man, to expose the kids to something different, something new, something that they'll never forget.
Are there lines on a Disney cruise, like Disney, the amusement park? What's the line experience like?
I guess the line, the only line was something called the Aqueduct. That was it was a slide, like a tube slide, and it took you around the entire ship, the top of the ship.
Oh wow! That's
and of course I didn't get on it, because in my mind I'm gonna get stuck in the middle of it, and I'm gonna be stuck in that bitch for 3 days.
Or it's gonna shoot you out into the middle of the ocean and shit.
and get ate up by 6 sharks.
Right.
Hey, you already know. So I didn't ride it. I was gonna suck it up because my baby, she was up there hollering, hooping and hollering, but her aunt and her mom took her. But I was dreading it. I was like, oh my God, I'm about to get stuck in this joint. But
So
don't let this little girl call my name.
The rest of your family went and you didn't go?
Bro,
I wasn't gonna say nothing now.
Bro, no.
I just want to make sure I heard that right.
Bro, no. I didn't get on it. Y'all don't understand.
They did though. They did.
Everybody, they loved it. It was like, let's go again. I was like, later. I said, come on, let's go. Let's go get on this mini duck. Let's get on this mini duck, not the aqueduct.
Not the aqueduct.
The mini duck, right? Dude, I'm not doing it. I really need some medicine, yo. I freaked out. I went to Frankie's Fun Park, yo, and I got in this little helicopter that doesn't even move, and they closed the door, yo. I had to get up out of there.
So is it the claustrophobia or the heights? Which one?
It's both, and anxiety. Like I have a laundry list of things, and Carter, he was mad young at the time. He was probably like 6. He was like, Dad, what happened? I was like, something wrong with the ride, man. I told him something wrong with the ride. But I said, just get back in. I'll call the attendant. They'll set you back up. And he was like, Dad, get on in. I was like, y'all, you guys are good, man. I'm gonna stay out here and make sure everything's fine. But I couldn't tell him anything different because I gotta be Superman today.
Right, you did.
You better kill their kids' dreams, man.
Right, nah, wasn't there.
Oh man, that's crazy. Well, but you got to still feel like Super Dad.
Got it.
Yeah,
man, it's a good experience. Mine, I'm gonna cheat and give 2. One really quickly, just the growth of Defy Life, and in general. Again, we always talk about this. A couple years ago, we were just a show and a website. So to now see where we've grown to multiple shows and multiple websites and our own clothing line. It's amazing to see, and a lot of that growth took place in 2019. And then secondly, at the beginning of 2019, I was in a shitty job. I don't say it was completely shitty. Like, the money was decent, but I was working 7 days a week, literally, and I had no enjoyment from my family. Like, I never saw my kids. And I worked that job for like 6 months, from the end of 2018 through the beginning of 2019. And I was in a meeting, one of these ridiculous, shitty meetings where I don't have to work that day, but I still got to get up at 6 in the morning to go to a meeting. In the meeting, I said, this is my last meeting. I'm not doing this shit no more. And I said that shit for like 3 meetings until I just finally kept speaking it and spoke it into existence. And my actual dream job that I wanted called me 3 meetings into me speaking that shit into existence, and I got it. And that was huge for me, because I was gonna kill somebody if I stayed at that other job. Yeah. So yeah. So those are my 2. But yeah, we appreciate you, Dre. Damn good questions. Good to hear from you. And Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. I don't know when the last time we spoke to Dre. So shout out to you, Dre.
Word from the ATL representing.
Absolutely. Well, we'll jump into a break, and we will be right back. If you're into all things comics, you have to check out Take a Knee for Marvel vs. DC, your go-to podcast for comic and superhero discussion, debates, polls, and more. Tune in as Regular Scott and Ozzy Killmonger chat about your favorite comic topics, and you never know who may show up for an open mic or what will be next on their favorite One Gotta Go. Take a Knee for Marvel vs. DC, every Sunday, powered by the Defy Life Podcast Network. Shout out to Take a Knee for Marvel vs. DC. Regular Scott and Ozzy Killmonger doing their thing over there. Proud of you guys. Dropping every Sunday morning on the Defy Life Podcast Network. We left off. We just answered our listener questions. Again, if anybody wants to send us a question, you disagree with something we say, or you just want to get something off your chest, email us at info@godefylife.com, or you can hit us up at all social media platforms at GoDefyLife. Guys, let's talk some NFL. We are headed to the Super Bowl.
Wow.
All right. When I say we, I mean none of our respective teams, but we still gonna be watching like our respective teams. So yeah, coming off the AFC Championship and the NFC Championship, in the AFC, the Chiefs were able to end the Titans' magical run to head to the Super Bowl, and in the NFC, the Packers were just not enough to handle the 49ers. It was a pretty ugly game I think that game was over somewhere between Osei and Can't You See. It was not close at all. But in the AFC, Pooh, I know you picked the Titans, right?
I did.
Yeah. So were you were you shocked that the Titans didn't win, or you just had to pick somebody? Like, what were your thoughts on going with the Titans?
I was going with the Titans because I just thought that they were on a mission, and I just thought that their why was going to be able to overcome what the Chiefs are. If you know what I'm saying. I just thought they were going to be able to impose their will on the Chiefs, even though I know the Chiefs are like ridiculously talented, and sooner or later guys are going to get open and they're going to get behind you and they're going to outrun you from side down the sideline. I just thought that the Titans' why was going to be able to propel them to the Super Bowl.
Okay. And with that being said, what do you know after the conference championship games?
I know the 49ers, they're not going to be able to do what they did to the Chiefs that they did to the Packers. They're not going to be able to play their base D. They're not going to be able to match up, Fred and Keywan and those guys against Hartman and Robinson and Kelsey. It's just if they do, it's a recipe for disaster.
That's what I'm about to say. They can do it. They're gonna pay for it, though.
So it's gonna be tough, man. Jimmy G gonna have to get involved. I don't think they're gonna be able to run the ball 68 times this game. Jimmy G he's gonna have to sling it. He's gonna have to sling it for them to be able to win it. And that's how I see it.
Yeah, I think we said early this season at some point Jimmy Garoppolo is gonna have to be a fucking quarterback, and this may be the game that he has to do it. Al, what do you know after the championship games?
I know. This is going to be one of the better Super Bowls that we have seen in the last 10 years. And I think Super Bowls, like boxing matches, are best when you have these contrasting styles. And I think you have a team that has some, their strength is their explosiveness, their offense, and their young quarterback who is, I think, driven to kind of make his mark as one of the best, if not the best quarterback in the league. I think, his opportunity to get to the king of the hill for Mahomes. But I think what makes it, to me, the X factor with San Fran is their defensive line. And I think the kryptonite to a quarterback is pressure.
All right.
And so I think that to me is going to be who's going to, talk about imposing will, like, use Pooh's phrase. I think who's going to be able to make the difference. And so that to me is what's going to be that matchup, the pass rush versus Mahomes. So I know it's going to be a really entertaining game. That's what I believe.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And we'll have our full Super Bowl preview on next week's show. But yeah, it's like you said, Al. The contrasting styles is gonna make for a very interesting game. Just because, like, San Francisco's defense and Kansas City's offense, both of those units can give each team a puncher's chance. So, we've seen Kansas City go down by 24 and then 10 last two games. And if that happens against San Francisco, I don't know if they can overcome that. But with that offense, they're never out of a game. So it's going to be it's so much fun to watch. So, again, we'll go ahead. Yeah.
I was going to say, I don't think Kansas City has the defense to where you would say, the San Fran's going to struggle against them. Like, I think that's going to be an interesting matchup as well, because I think Kansas City has a defense that can give up yards and points.
Right.
So, I like that the wide receiver Sanders on San Fran.
Debo.
I like that dude. The running game seems to be making moves, as well as their tight end making moves.
Yeah. But that's the other thing is, if Kansas City comes out and and establishes a pretty decent lead, does San Francisco have the weapons to climb back in it? Do they have the firepower, like we said? At that point, Jimmy Garoppolo is going to have to be a quarterback.
Yeah, they're going to have to step his game up.
All right. 8 passes ain't going to do it, Jimmy G.
Nah, it's not. He could. I think he could sling it. But I do think Kansas City's D. All they want to do is force a few field goals and get a few 3 and outs, and they feel like they can overwhelm you.
Yeah, and if they can keep San Francisco behind the chains.
If
they can get you 3rd and long, then Frank Clark and all them dudes can start. Chris Jones, they can start coming after you. It's gonna be a fun game, man.
No, it is,
because the offensive, what's his name, Shanahan. Like, he has a decent, watching some of the plays, the development, getting people wide.
No, he's a genius. He's
Right,
he's a genius. And this old line is definitely top 3 in the game. Like, so he is who he is.
Right. I don't think it's a given, but like you said, we'll talk about it more next week. But I just think it's a real good matchup on both sides of the ball, real competitive.
Yeah, we'll talk about it next week, and by that time the picks will be out, and we'll dive deep. And then also, neither team has any major injuries, so whatever happens, you won't look back at it and say, "Man, what would have been if so and so had played." So I'm happy that again, if none of us have a dog in the fight, I'm happy that we have the setups for a very good game. There's no major injuries, and I think we can enjoy this one.
All right. All right, except Coleman, he broke his arm, right? His
he
wrist?
separated his shoulder, yeah.
Oh, separated his shoulder.
But they say he might play though.
They say he might play, yeah. And I don't know, their running backs are so interchangeable. It's like,
oh man, they got 50 of them things.
Right,
man.
like you put Matt Breida in, and it's like, oh, Tevin Coleman ain't playing.
Right.
Yeah. So, and then quickly, I want to get y'all's opinion on something. Of course, the collective bargaining agreement is up and set to be renewed by the beginning of the league year in March. But with that, the owners are proposing a 17-game season. We've kind of seen this coming for a while. And if the players do accept this in the new CBA, which it looks like they probably will, we're going to move to a 17-game schedule. Pooh, what do you think about that?
Oh man, I know a lot's been said that I guess with the guys being beat up and whatnot. I don't mind the 17-game schedule, like they say, and I'm not going to say take away the preseason game because those were the other guys get their jobs because the vets don't, they're typically not going to. They only do maybe 30 plays the whole preseason anyway. But I would love if they could have swapped out or interchanged that 17th game with shortening, those guys' rookie deal. I guess so they could go out there and achieve and obtain that money, faster at a more rapid pace because the guys they'd be locked up for 5 and 6 years before they can garner that big deal.
All right.
You can be outplayed your contract leaps and bounds and the team's still holding you hostage because you have 3 years left. So I wish they were more like the NBA. They were 3-year deals. That rookie contract what's the NBA? 3 years or 2 years with a team option for the third or something of that nature.
I don't know about the NBA.
It's something like that. But I wish it was
so funky.
They are. But I wish it was more like a 3-year deal and maybe a team option for the fourth. Yeah. With a regular accelerated pay. But I wish they could interchange that for that because I think the players are really, missing out on that.
Okay. All right. Al, what about you? How you feel about an extended schedule?
I would feel like it was unfair if they're not going to drop a preseason game. Like, it just seems like adding more. Again, I love football, so the idea of more football is appealing, but for the sake of these dudes' bodies and the injuries that happen, adding another week seems like just counter to the narrative that y'all care about their health and long-term longevity and trying to reduce brain injuries, and like just seems what are we doing here? Like it just seems greedy.
Yeah, definitely.
Of course definitely.
It is. But what's it for though? Like it's already 8-8. Like you can, because you can't even that out. Like
it's
it can't
money.
be.
That's what it's for.
So do they like? Do I get more money in my contract now that you like? So the people who I'm getting $25 million for 16 games. Now that y'all added another game onto the schedule,
right? There's got to be a way.
Yeah,
I feel like you owe me more money.
Yeah, I think they will start factoring that into contracts. And then also, I'm pretty sure that's always been the player's stance is take away a preseason game if you're going to do that. So that's probably going to happen as well.
Yeah.
But so I think the winner in that is going to be the fans who pay for season tickets, and because your season tickets, preseason games are included. You pay full price for those tickets.
Right.
So at least you're getting an extra game, which actually means something. So yeah, but of course, the players are probably going to push back on having marijuana taken out of the banned substances list, stuff like that. Somebody proposed something to me. I don't know what y'all think about this. Somebody asked, well, how would I feel about this and whether the NFL would even consider it. I felt honored that they asked me how I felt about it. But it's so if every team's playing an extra game, how would it work if every team played one game in a city that doesn't have an NFL team? So say the Panthers will play their 17th game or one of their 17 games in Columbia at Williams-Brice Stadium. Or, so somewhere that has a stadium but just doesn't have an NFL team. That
dope.
was interesting. I like the idea.
Yeah.
I don't know how they make it work. But to me, like it seems like, so that would mean that every team would play two games in a different, you know what I'm saying? Because
that's
the
dope.
Panthers would have to play somebody in Williams-Brice.
Right.
So, and then I guess like if they play the Chiefs play at, somewhere in their region who doesn't have the Chiefs, an NFL team in their immediate area. So their fans could come see them play. I like the idea. I just don't know how to make it work.
Yeah, that's dope. I like it. I like it as well.
I mean, I love the idea. I mean, I think you got enough stadiums of where you have major college teams, so from a Syracuse to a Ann Arbor to Penn State. They're, even if you just utilize a lot of those stadiums, I think they could make it work. I think that was a kind of cool idea. I think that was
I do too.
Make it different.
Right.
Too. I dig it.
I could really dig that. So, that's all we got, Pooh. You ready to stump us with some trivia?
Yeah, man. Let's get it done.
All right.
Let me open this thing up, man. Get this thing. All right, that's what we got. We got MLK facts, which is Martin Luther King Jr. All right. We have, and this points 10 through 40. So, and we have top 6 NFL passing seasons, 46 touchdowns or more, right?
Oh, touchdowns.
So,
okay.
Yeah, touchdowns. So, if you give me, all of these are worth 20, right? It's 6 of them. All of them are worth 20. And if you give me the name associated with how many touchdowns, that's a double up.
Okay.
All right. And then we have the last category is three sprinters to win the Olympic gold before boats rain. I'm sorry. Let me change that. I have 4 sprinters. So just give me the name. I'm not gonna double that. You can just give me the name. Just give me the name. It was 2000. 92, 96, 2000, 2004. So I'm gonna give you the years on those. But okay, so I have MLK facts. Top 6 season pass TDs yards, and 4 sprinters to win Olympic gold before boats rain.
Okay.
All right. Al, you good with that?
So the top 4 sprinters, that means their time, the top 4 times, or the top 4 times that they won gold with?
No, I don't want their times. I want the top 4 sprinters to win gold in the Olympics before boats rain. So before boat took over.
The immediate 4 before him?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
The immediate 4 before him.
Yeah. 92, 96, 2000, 2004.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
92, 96, 2000, 2004. Gotcha.
Correct. Yeah. Let me
Okay.
get it.
And the other one was the top 6 quarterback.
And that's in the 100, right?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
100. Yeah.
Shoo.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I should have been. Yeah, that's in 100. Okay, the top 6 seasons, 46 touchdowns or more. So the top 6 passing touchdowns in a season. All right, but I'll just give you a hint that it's 46 or more.
Okay.
So that I practically just laid that out there for you. All right, and all of those are worth 20. Double up. You give me the name, that's 20. Then you move on and give me the amount or how many they accumulated, and that's 20 more. So you have a chance to get 40 on each one of those.
Okay. And then King Facts.
Then King Facts.
Gotcha.
Those are 4, 10 through 20. All right.
Okay.
So, Al, you beat me last week, right?
That sounds right.
Nah, I beat you. Nah, I probably won't. I'm on the snide right now. I just don't like how you quickly answered. Talking about that sounds right.
That sounds right. I'm claiming that.
Al, on you. What you want, man?
Let me do touchdowns.
Okay.
Patrick Mahomes got 50.
Patrick Mahomes, 50. That is correct. He's tied for second. Pat Mahomes. So that is 40. Let me take that one out. Pat Mahomes. Good. Okay, Jay.
Peyton Manning got the double nickel.
Yeah. Peyton. Double nickel. Jay. 40. Back on you, Al.
Tom Brady got 50 with Randy Moss.
He definitely does. He definitely does. Give you the thumbs up on that. Al, 40 more. Now things get a little thick.
All right. Peyton again got 49 because Tom broke his record with Randy.
He definitely did. What Randy associated in here.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. All right, Al, on you.
Okay, that's really all I remember. So let's go with.
We have just to say it out there, we have
Oh
two
no
more.
no.
We have
So
two
wait,
more
wait.
left.
Dan Marino.
Damn you, Alvin Glenn.
Dan Marino. I'll
But I don't
start
know
the
how many.
countdown. Okay, you don't know how many.
Well,
Okay.
wait. It can be. You said
10.
it's 46. 47. 47.
Good guess. It was 48. So you get 20.
Okay.
Yeah, you get 20. All right. Give a thumbs up.
Al took my last one, so
One left. Okay.
let me run with the gold medalists.
Okay.
I'm gonna go. I know Justin Gatlin won one before Boat.
Justin Gatlin, do you have the year?
He won it immediately before Boat, so that would have been 2004.
2004 is correct. You didn't need the year, though. I just wanted to know. You know it? Yeah.
Oh shit! got me using my brain for nothing.
And it seems as though all of these are 20. Did I tell you guys that?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me put the thumbs up on that one. Okay. On you, Al.
Carl Lewis? Was he? I don't know.
Carl Lewis. I think it was a little before Carl's time.
By that
Okay.
time, Carl was butt naked last.
Yeah. He
Oh.
he was definitely bucket naked.
Okay.
Bucket naked last. All right. So I made it. I messed up with that. I was supposed to have to do 10, 20, 30, 40. Damn it. Because, no, I can leave it like that. No. Yeah, I made a mistake, gentlemen.
What happened?
Because you'll just keep guessing and guessing and guessing until you get them. So I got to put a point value by them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so let me do that. It just so happened, Jay, the one that you guessed was for 40.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, Al. Okay. So that one Al guess is a gimme.
So I get to guess again?
Not right back.
Oh.
So what I would do is I would give you the year, and you'll give me the you attempt to give me the guy, because that's what we have to do it. So Jay, you already guessed Gatling for 40 for 2004. So you already got that one out. So that one's out.
Well, I only know one other one, so whatever point value 2000 is.
Okay, that's 30.
Maurice Green.
Maurice Green. That's true.
I don't know, him and Gatlin was battling it out for a while.
Battling it out. Yeah. So we got the 10 and the 20 left, Al.
Shit. I'm gonna leave sprinters alone.
No
And,
doubt.
let me try Drew Brees.
Drew Brees.
Drew.
All right. 10.
Oh, he's on it.
Yeah.
10.
9. 8.
49.
49. Yeah, it's close. It's 46.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so you did get the dub, though. You got the dub, and all the quarterbacks are gone. We have King for 10, 20, 30, 40, and we have sprinters for 10 and 20.
All right, let me get King Facts for 20.
King Facts for 20. King entered Morehouse at what age?
15.
15. That is correct. So that is 20 for Jay. Al, on you.
What's left?
King for 10, 30, and 40, and sprinters for 10 and 20.
Let me go King for 30. I ain't fucking with you.
King for 30. King won the Nobel Peace Prize at what age? 10, 20. I mean, 10, 9, 8.
27.
27. That is incorrect. Do you know, Jay? Just for shits and giggles?
I don't. 29?
35.
35.
Yeah, still the youngest ever.
Right.
Still the youngest ever. Okay. So that's out. Jay, on you.
Get King Facts for 10.
King Facts for 10. What is MLK's birth name? What is Martin Luther King Jr.'s birth name?
Michael.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's Michael. I don't know the rest. I don't know the middle name. Michael something King. Kenneth? I don't know.
I'm good with Michael King. I was really looking at the first name, so
Okay.
Michael King.
Okay.
Yeah, Michael King for 10.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Good. Learned something.
I did.
Yeah, no doubt. I was quizzing the kids today. That's how I learned it. I didn't know it either.
I learned that, and this is a shameless plug for you, Brother Kemet, on Black Gumbo. I learned that on Black Gumbo.
Okay. No doubt. Al, we have MLK Facts for 40, sprinters for 10 and 20.
Shit. I'll do King Facts. What's the King Facts left?
40.
I'll take 40.
Yeah, it's pretty
That's all
solid.
that's left? I'll take
it. Okay. What's the year and date MLK was assassinated?
1969. And the day was, I should know this.
10, 9,
March
8.
3rd.
March 3rd. Let me go back and check, man. It seems like you whiffed on everything, man. Let me make sure though, because you said that 69 with confidence.
I know, I'm just guessing.
Because I thought it was 68, but you was so confident.
No, don't listen to my confidence.
Okay. Because I was like, I recall reading it and scouring. Yeah, it was April 4th, 1968.
Okay.
Yeah, he was assassinated, if I'm not mistaken, at 39, 4 years after he won the Nobel Peace Prize at 35. Okay. 2 sprinters left. 10 and for 20.
Is the whatever 96. That's for 20.
96 for 20. Yep.
Oh shit. That's the Atlanta Olympics. That wasn't Michael Johnson. That's Donovan. Shit.
No, 10,
Donovan.
9, 8, 7,
Donovan.
6,
Shit.
5,
I can't remember his last name. Norman.
3.
No,
2,
it ain't Donovan. Donovan.
1.
Mitchell. Fuck, I can't remember his last name.
That's close though. It is Donovan Bailey.
Bailey. Damn.
Donovan Bailey.
I'm
Yeah,
thinking about every
that was
Donovan
close.
I know. I played ball with a Donovan Norman, Donovan Mitchell.
And I definitely would have said Donovan Mitchell.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely would have said Donovan Mitchell.
I was like, damn, yeah, Mitchell.
Right.
No, that's the basketball.
Right. And time I got Norman out, I was like, oh, this nigga played wide receiver at USC. That ain't him.
Right.
Oh, man.
All right, Al. For 10, man. Sprinters for 10.
Can't
What year?
win.
1992. No Googling.
Oh, it don't matter.
Yosh.
I'm gonna go with FloJo.
Flo Joe, man.
You say-
Linford Christie.
Oh,
Wow.
I suppose GBR is what? Great Britain?
Great Britain. Yeah. I remember Linford Christie.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sound like a girl I dated. I'm like, that name don't sound familiar.
40, 80, 100, 120, 130. Al, you have 130.
Okay.
J, 40, 80, 120, 130. That can't be right.
Can't be life.
No, that can't be right. That can't be right. Jay got the Morehouse. That's 20. And King's birth name. Ah, wow. You got that. Okay, you got that. That's by 10. So that's 40, 80, 100, 120, 130, 40, 80, 110, 130, 140. That's something still seems to be wrong. Well, it is J 140, Al 130. Jay's victorious.
So I'm about to say, as long as it's more than 130, I'm good with it.
But hey, that's what I'm coming up with. I'm coming up with 130.
Okay.
I feel like you just Al Gore, George Bush me,
Go
but
ahead.
No, because you went 40, 40,
Hey.
20, 20, 10.
I
Jay
didn't think
went
I
40,
was.
40, 30. Jay went 40, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Pay no
So that
attention to
30,
the man behind the curtain.
that Maurice Green edged him out.
with the Maurice. So with
Yeah.
the Maurice.
Shout out
Yeah.
to Mo Green.
Right.
Oh, man. Well, Pooh, you hosted, man. What you got for me? What's your parting shot?
Man. Wow, what's my parting shot? Next year, get the flu shots. Whole family had the flu, all the young kids. I'm going with the flu shots next year. Take care, get some vitamin C in, get everyone healthy, man. Defy Life, we love you. Defy Life cares. Oh, get out and do something. If it's not King Day, get out on some type of day, man. Get in there, help out the community. Each one teach one. Peace.
Absolutely. Al, what's good? What you got for me?
Man, shout out to the listeners. That's my parting shot. Just appreciate the fact that, you know, we got a following and people send in questions and they support our show, because it really is much appreciated from all of us. So I know I'm speaking on behalf of all of us, but it's just shout out to all those folk who get down with Defy Life. And have a good week. Enjoyed it. See y'all next week.
I'm right. Yeah, I follow up on that out. Shout out to all of our listeners, man. I definitely agree with you. You're speaking for all of us. Last week's episode was our highest listened to show in almost a year. So shout out to everybody, man. We appreciate y'all.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah, I ain't got nothing else crazy. I just want to say, I know we've talked about this dude before, but I really, really hope that Antonio Brown gets help at this point. Like, I've ran through all my jokes about him. The anger is out the window from what he's done. But, you know, apparently he's now a suspect in a battery charge against a moving driver, a moving truck driver. There were a large presence of police officers at his Florida home today, and his trainer has already been arrested, and now he's a suspect as well. At this point, like, the jokes ain't even funny no more. I hope this dude just gets help. Like, his trainers bailed on him. I mean, his agents bailed on him, and you know how much it takes for Drew Rosenhaus to bail on anybody.
Mm-hmm.
That dude stuck it out with T.O. and Chad Ochocinco. So, I just hope the dude gets help. At this point, I think it's a foregone conclusion that he's not going to play in the NFL, especially if he gets arrested for this. I think he's played his last snap. I just hope he gets some help before he spirals completely out of control. So, that's all I got, man. So,
yeah, that's sad.
Yeah.
No doubt, man.
So,
It would
right. No, but
just hurt me to see. It would just hurt me to see, like, if he, end up like LP. We look and
right, yeah.
AB this, AB that, AB that guy, he that deal, and you look up and he in orange suit with chains, and now he being convicted of this convict. I would really hate to see that.
Yeah,
for real.
So, especially in light of, everybody's watching the Aaron Hernandez documentary on Netflix. I haven't seen it because I saw an earlier released one on Hulu last year, and I didn't want to relive that again, so I didn't watch it. But I hope that we don't see a 30 for 30 or a documentary about Antonio Brown like this. Like, it's sad at this point. So
Real sad.
Yeah, but that's all we got, folks. Thanks for listening. We asked it again that you find us. We are available at GoDefyLife.com, DefyLifePods.com, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, everywhere you find your favorite podcast. We ask that you hit the like button, subscribe, and give us a 5-star rating. Go check us out. And you can find us on all social media platforms, again, at Go Defy Life. This has been episode 141 of the Defy Life podcast. Until next time, Defy Life.
Defy Life.
Defy Life.
Welcome to the Anything, Everything, and Nothing podcast with Lynn and Kim. Join us as we discuss the latest in everything from entertainment and current events to the craziness that is our real life.
Let's laugh, let's live, let's talk about it. New episode every Tuesday on the Defy Life Podcast Network. And remember, if you're not defying life, then what are you doing? Lynn and Kim.